Welcome to the Positively You podcast. I'm your host, Jessie Larson, and I'm passionate about helping you shift the way you think so you can create a life you're absolutely obsessed with. Each week, I'll be bringing you a guest or a thought that's going to help you feel more optimistic and equipped to take real action. Get ready to push past limiting beliefs, ditch that negativity, and start showing up as the best and most positive version of you. Girl, let's do this. Hey, we are back for another episode of the Positively You podcast, and I have to be completely honest, I am late. I hope you haven't noticed, or maybe I kind of do hope you noticed, because that means you're a very dedicated listener. If you've noticed that the last couple of weeks after my break, I've struggled with getting back into a consistent routine. I was in the camp of, once my kids go back to school, I'm going to be the most organized person ever. I'm going to have so much time because I'm not going to have my kids interrupting me anymore. I'm not going to try to be being like fun mom and doing all the fun summer things and having my kids home all day. I'm going to have like a huge chunk of time that is dedicated to work. Now, I do have a huge chunk of time that is dedicated to work, and I have been working, and I'm at this stage right now in my life and in my business, especially this growing business, where it feels like a snowball is rolling down the mountain and it got going and I'm just trying to play catch up. Now, I was telling a friend that I feel like I'm only like 10% behind. Like I'm right there, right at the cusp of feeling really organized and really on top of my game, which is a good place to be. Like that's where a lot of us like live our whole life. So I'm not 50% or drowning or feel like I can't come up for any air. I just feel like I'm playing catch up. Like I'm 2 steps behind, right? Like if I was like right on pace, I'm like 2 steps behind being right at a really good pace. So we're going to get there. Unfortunately, the thing that has taken the biggest hit has been this podcast. And for that, I hate so much. I'll be completely honest, because when I started this podcast, oh my gosh, guess what? I just realized today is September 1st that I'm recording this. This is my 2-year anniversary of my podcast. Holy crapola, you guys. I did not even notice that until I'm literally sitting here recording and I look up at the date on my computer and it says September 1st. Oh my gosh. How did this date creep up on me? We have to celebrate. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. You guys are here for like the raw moment. So 2 years ago today, I'm going to release this episode today, even though I'm recording it late and I was going to do it next week. It's coming out today. It's just going to be a late thing. 2 years ago today is when the Positively You podcast launched into the world. We're over 100 episodes in. I don't even know how many interviews. I've met so many amazing people. Like the doors that have opened, the connections that have been made, the conversations I've had in DMs. Oh my gosh, this podcast has been the biggest blessing in my life. And I'm so glad I pushed past that fear and that imposter syndrome that I literally have to push past. Like every time I push record and every time I push publish, is it like, are people still listening? Do you even care? And every single time I get a DM that I absolutely love that episode or this is what I needed. And really, I don't do it for my own validation, although it is nice to feel proud of what you're doing and of your work. But I do it because of what that message means to that person. Like I don't need it for my own praise, but I'm so happy that whatever I said helped you have a better day, helped you make some change that made a positive impact in your life, because that's what I want to do. I want to be a bright spot. I want to just have you having a positive day, having a good day, feeling good and happy to be alive, and that you get another day and that you're living in just this like full energy. That's why I'm here and why I keep showing up. And sometimes I show up late and I show up and I don't even realize that it's my anniversary. I'm over the moon. I know you can probably like hear the smile in my voice because 2 years. Wow. All right. Well, let's jump in to the episode. Wow. just sit with me for a second and just 2 years. That's what I was going to say. In 2 years, I have been so consistent at this, at growing this, at showing up. And if you would have asked me 2 years ago if one of my attributes or words I would use to describe myself was consistent, I don't know that that was a top 5 or 10 word that I would use to describe myself. And through this podcast and through a lot of my fitness journey that I've been in, consistency has been something that I have worked so hard at. And it's something that I am proud to now say that I can use that word to identify with myself. So that's huge. Let that in and of itself be a lesson to you, that just the little steps of showing up every day, whatever it is. I've talked your ear off about making your bed on this podcast. But even if it's that, right? Like, that is how I started to define myself as a consistent person. That's where I found that proof, was with the easiest little thing of making my bed. And then it was showing up and doing workouts. And then it was putting out this podcast. And now I have all this proof that, like, oh my crap, I can be consistent. And that's something that makes you a confident person. That's something that builds self-love in yourself, is keeping those promises to yourself and just building proof, building a foundation of proof, so that when new things arise, whatever it is, like right now I'm obviously talking about being a consistent person, but insert whatever attribute or challenge that comes at you, when you've built up that proof, you can take those things on head on, because you're like, yeah, I know. You're confident in yourself. You're aware of your capabilities, and you're aware of how you show up and what kind of a person you are. So that was not at all what this podcast episode was going to be about. So I don't know, maybe this is like a twofer where you get like this lesson and then you're going to get something super practical after. Because what just happened is I actually just woke up from a power nap, and I talk about power naps sometimes over on Instagram, and I was not a believer in them, because technically the term power nap means, okay, hang on, I'm going to pull it up because I actually took notes, which I never do. But the term power nap is usually a nap that's between, like, there's conflicting information out there. Sometimes they say 10 to 20 minutes, 15 to 25 minutes, but it's all kind of agreed that it is under 30 minutes. Like, you've got to stay under that 30-minute window. And I remember hearing that and being like, I can't even fall asleep in 30 minutes. Like, how on earth am I going to take a 30-minute nap? This also just sounds like a waste of time. My mind is just going to be running. But I will tell you, I believe in the power of a power nap. And I've come up with like my own little like tips and tricks and hacks of how to make them work. But why? Let's talk about why, like, that time, because you're like, wouldn't like a 90-minute or like a full nap be better? And there's actually a really good reason. So we all know about like our natural sleep cycles, right? Like, I'm not going to go into like a full like discourse on them, but we all know about like REM cycles and the different like phases of sleep that we go in, like light sleep, deep sleep, when we're dreaming, blah, 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 all the things. So a typical full sleep cycle lasts about 90 minutes. So if you do have time, like if you're going to go past the 30 mark, you need to go all the way to the 90 mark so that you can like cycle all the way through a full cycle. Otherwise, you're going to wake up in like the middle of it, and that is when you wake up from a nap feeling like sluggish and dragging, and right? Because we've all had moments like that where you're like, I took a nap and I feel worse than before. And that's why like perfecting the power nap is awesome, because you really do wake up like right at that moment before you go into like a full cycle, but you've gotten the benefits before. There's like tons and tons of science to it, which I'm going to link a couple of different articles for you down in the show notes, but I won't bore you because this is not a science podcast. This is a fun podcast, right? Like just talking with your friends. And a lot of times when you're talking with your friends, they don't like hit you with all of the facts, right? Hopefully. I mean, maybe not. If you have like a super smart friend out there who loves to like not notate, but like, what's the word when you have to like say all your sources? there's a word for it. I was really bad at writing papers, so that should tell you all you need to know there. Okay, but I love, love, love a power nap. So here's a couple of hacks on how you can do a power nap. My very first one is like the sound and the noise. So I take a power nap with my AirPods in. Now, that might be uncomfortable for some people. There are a number of different things you can do over the head earphones. You can even just like play it out loud, although I like having my AirPods because it does cancel out the rest. Like I've had kids walk in and I don't know. I've had my husband like come into our room, go use the bathroom, like flush the toilet and then leave. And I have no idea that I think he's even like come in here and like changed his clothes and got ready for the gym before when I've taken a power nap and I'm out. And I don't notice he's there. And I'm only out for like 25 minutes. So noise canceling headphones are my secret weapon. But not just putting on the noise canceling. I use an app called Insight Timer, but literally like you could use Spotify, you can use Apple Music, whatever. I like Insight Timer. I use them for like meditating. I use them for like sound baths when I just want to like kind of chill. And then I actually started using them for my power naps. And when I first started using them, I just would search like ocean sounds because I love the sound of ocean waves crashing. There's literally no place on earth I'd rather be than toes in the sand and listening to the ocean coming in. Like that, I could live there for the rest of my life and be the happiest person ever. I mean, who wouldn't? If you wouldn't love living with your toes in the sand, laying there and listening to the ocean, we need to talk because I need to know like what would be better for you. So that's what I would do. I would search for like ocean sounds or rain sounds or nature sounds, like something you would hear when you're in a spa or getting a massage, right, where you're so relaxed. But then I actually searched on Insight Timer, and they're just an app. So search Insight Timer. I'll also link it in the show notes below. But I searched for power nap, and there was power naps in there. And there's different like times, so you can search for the time limit. So there was like a 10-minute one, a 15-minute one, a 20-minute one. The one I most recently did, I picked 30 minutes, and the sound, you guys, was heavenly. It wasn't nature sounds per se. It was like airy, like ethereal. I am struggling so bad with words right now. It was like an airy, like spacey almost, but not like weird. I could play it for you. No, I won't do that. Anyway, it was lovely, and within like 4 minutes, I was out and I was completely transported. I was breathing like, your deep breathing sleep when it's like the deep, long breaths. Like that's where I was at. I was so out. And then this one was beautiful because about 2 minutes before you're done, it starts chiming and like slowly waking you up. And like when I felt the first chime, I was like, oh no, I'm so groggy, I can't wake up. And by the last, I was like eyes wide open, ready to pop out of bed, ready to sit down here and record an episode. So noise canceling headphones to cancel out all of the distractions, and then some sort of sound, because that also works as your timer, because you definitely want to set an alarm for when you are taking your power nap. But I know that sometimes the struggle with setting an alarm is then like, I only have 10 minutes. I only have 9 minutes. If I don't fall asleep now, I only have 8 minutes, right? We've all done that before in like the middle of the night when you've had a night where you can't sleep. There's nothing I hate more, right? It's like 3 o'clock and you're like, oh no, if I don't fall asleep now, I only get 3 more hours of sleep. Or, oh no, if I don't fall asleep now. So that's why I like using sound that's on a timer, like Insight Timer, because I don't have to worry about the alarm. Like obviously I know it's still 30 minutes, but it feels different than just like a countdown of an alarm where I'm just like trying to sound like sleep and I know there's this timer looming in the background. It's more like I'm just going to close my eyes and listen to this, and then I'll wake up when it's done. And it's glorious. Okay, the next one is like get comfy, right? I darken my room. I turn down the blinds. I grab a blanket. I don't like fully get into like bed, but I just like get a little comfortable. Right? You're going to be sleeping. You want to be comfortable. That could be, getting a blanket. That could be changing clothes if you want to. I wouldn't recommend that. I would just say, just go make it easy. Make it quick and easy. Oh, here's a hack. So this might sound very counterintuitive, but if you are a caffeine person, right? Because some people say like take a nap instead of caffeine, but sometimes you might want both. So when is the best time to take the caffeine? And you're naturally going to think, go take a nap and then I'll wake up and have a drink later, like a coffee or an energy drink or a Diet Coke, whatever. Like pick your caffeine drink of choice. Actually, take your caffeine, drink your drink like right before you go to bed. Right before you go to take your nap, as you're like getting everything ready. Like I'll be sipping on my caffeine. Usually I do like drink mix-ins in my water so I can keep drinking water, but whatever, you do you. Drinking that while I'm getting like my headphones ready, my Insight timer pulled up, and head to sleep. Because, okay, this is what's super cool. Okay, so the cool thing about that is that caffeine typically takes about 20 minutes to go through your system and start taking the effects. So the timing is perfect for drinking it right before you go take your nap, because then it hits right as you're about to wake up. Therefore, you don't get that grogginess. And if you're using a nap under 30 minutes, you're not going to get that anyway. So there's a fun little hack for you as well. So you get all of these amazing benefits of a nap of just 20 to 30 minutes without feeling groggy when you wake up. You get the benefits of a better mood, more alert. There's been studies to show your reaction time is better. Your short-term memory can improve, focus and concentration. Like there's all of these things. So if you've got littles that you put down for an afternoon nap, I would encourage you to maybe try it out and take a nap yourself. Or like me, like I just took one right after lunch, so then I can come get the rest of my afternoon stuff done, and then I'm energized for when my kids get home. The days that I don't do this, by 3:00, like getting in the car and driving down to the school, picking up my kids and driving home, it's like 10 minutes tops, but that time in the car makes me so tired. And then, trying to do homework and take them to after school activities and get dinner on the table, and I'm just dragging for the rest of the day, that a nap in the middle of the day is so incredibly worth it. Now, let's talk about a couple of roadblocks and problems that you might be like already raising your hand. Like, well, hold on, let's chat. Number one is I can't shut my brain off. It's racing. I can't fall asleep. All of those things, right? And that is why, again, I will recommend the meditation app, the Insight timer, some sort of music. If the music doesn't help and your mind is racing too much, like honestly, search for something guided where someone's talking to you and soothes you to sleep, and then they stop talking like halfway through or partial of the way through to get your mind off of that. Also, thinking of yourself as just a rock, and the thoughts that come are waves. And you let them come, and then you let them go back out. And you let them come, and you let them go back out, right? So it's okay. If your mind is racing, that's okay. Like, just let them wash, let them flow. The next thing is the guilt. The mom guilt of taking a nap, right? I've got so much to get done, especially if you've got littles at home still, and you're like, if they're down for a nap, I can't take a nap because I have to get things done. This is the time, right? Like the nap time moments. I remember those. And if you're in that season of life, you're like, I know they tell you to like sleep when the baby sleeps, right? When they're like a newborn, and then they get older and it's like, take naps. And it's like, I can't, I have to get the things done. Now, number one, we've talked about this already. This is a power nap of 20 to 30 minutes. Let's realistically think for a minute how much time you waste scrolling on social media. In fact, we don't even have to think about it. You could open up your phone right now and look. It tells you how much time you spend on those apps. So there's time wasters throughout your day. A nap is not a time waster. Rest is productive. Rest is self-care, and you can take rest without feeling guilty. And I've had to fight through that too, where it's like, hey, I know that like there's things that need to be done. There's laundry that needs to be folded. There's dinner that needs to be prepped, whatever. But I'm going to take 30 minutes and shut the blinds and close the door and take a nap, because rest is going to be the most productive thing that I can do right now. So take that mom guilt and crumble it up into a ball and toss it into the garbage can where it belongs. So if you can't tell, I'm pretty passionate about this topic. Power naps have been a game changer for me. I absolutely love them. I woke up today feeling just so good. So good because I feel refreshed. I took time for myself, which makes me feel good knowing that like I'm a priority and I get that. So no matter where your stage at is, like if you have little kids at home, babies, toddlers who are still napping, go ahead and take that nap with them. And if theirs is like an hour, hour and a half, you still have plenty of time to get a lot of things done while they're continuing their nap and you get that 30-minute window. If your kids are at school and you're like, they're gone out of the house, I need to take advantage of this time when they're not here. Yes, you do. And part of taking advantage of that time is a nap. If you are working, you can still fit in naps as well. It's a little bit trickier, but I do remember when I was pregnant with my first and I was working full time, I took a nap like every single day. And that was just out of pure necessity because I was so drained and tired. But we had a break room where I was able to lay down and I would eat my lunch and I would do the exact same thing before I even knew this was like a thing because I was like 11, 12 years ago. That's crazy. But I would do the same thing where I would just turn on a timer, sleep for the allotted time. Sometimes I would even sleep. So it is possible no matter what like stage of life you are in. If you want one every single day, go for it. If you want one just when you're feeling that extra like drag, like, ugh, I need it. But I would encourage you to at least give it a try. Try it out. You know, I'm never one to say like, this will change your life and my one solution will solve all of your problems. I don't believe in one size fits all. I don't believe in magical solutions that will solve every single person's problem if you follow my formula, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, blah, blah, blah. You know, I don't believe in that. I'm very much about the individual and your unique life and your unique circumstances. So that being said, this is kind of what I do for me. Try it yourself, tweak it how you need, but the guidelines of keeping it under the 30 minutes for sure. So you don't go into that full cycle unless you're willing to commit yourself to like 90. And then just the tip of the noise canceling and the music. Like, oh, I can't even tell you how dreamy that was today. Power nap on Insight Timer. I will actually link this exact one in the show notes as well, so you can take the exact same nap I did. So there you go. That's something I'm loving lately. It's made a huge positive impact in my life, and that's what this show is all about, is giving you little things to make a positive impact in your day. So there you go. I will see you or talk to you. We'll pop into your ear in a week because I will be back on time next Wednesday. I'm committing myself to this and I know I can do it. So you're holding me accountable. All right. Well, I hope you have an amazing, amazing day. And until next time, we'll see you. Thank you for hanging out with me again today. I'm so glad you pressed play. If you want to take a quick second to share this episode with someone you think would love it too, that would be amazing. If you're loving the show, make sure you go and leave a review on iTunes. Reviews are like magic for podcasts, and your review will help get this show into the ears of more amazing women just like you. And come find me over on Instagram. I'm there at positively.jessie, and I cannot wait to hang out with you some more. So until next time, have an amazing week.